I get asked a lot about North Lubbock and what's going on in North Lubbock. And so today I wanted to highlight a vlog tour of all about North Lubbock. So that way, if you're thinking about moving to Lubbock and you want to know what's going on in North Lubbock, why does nobody talk about North Lubbock? Is it growing? Is it on the decline? What in the world is happening over there? Can I find houses? Can I find existing homes? Can I find a new construction home? All of the questions that you have, I want to answer here in this part 1 video. I'm going to talk about, since the city of Lubbock was founded, what has happened to North Lubbock, what is going on in North Lubbock right now, what is growing inside of North Lubbock. And then in part 2, I'm gonna take you around to 3 different neighborhoods in North Lubbock. That way you can get an idea of just some of the neighborhoods in that area and what they look like, some existing homes and some new construction homes. So that way you at least have a better understanding of all North Lubbock whenever you decide to make your way to Lubbock. And we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, sleeping, eating in Lubbock, well then be sure to tap that bell and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things living in Lubbock, Texas. I get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, and I absolutely love it. And so whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom with the Zoom link below. And I'd love to meet you and your family and see how we can help you make a smooth transition into the Lubbock area. And so as I mentioned, we are going to talk about part 1 of North Lubbock vlog tour. That way you have a good understanding of just what Lubbock used to be, what Lubbock is growing into. And then in part 2, I'm gonna take you around to some neighborhoods, show you what it's like, give you some market stats on some of the neighborhoods that I'm gonna be going to. They're all gonna be different price ranges, so they're not just gonna be one price range. And then like I mentioned, we are gonna go to a couple that have acreages, some that don't have acreages, and then also some that is a new construction neighborhood. So kind of encompassing all of what you can get in North Lubbock. So the northeast sector of Lubbock has really been on a population decline due to the 1970 tornado that essentially wiped it off the map. And it was a devastating tornado. And actually, if you think about it, it really wasn't that long ago. But at that point in time, Lubbock really wasn't that old of a city. Lubbock was founded in 1909. And so from there wasn't much going on. And so Northeast Lubbock was completely wiped out. And so the population decline is due to that. Also, there was a population decline or displacement of a lot of houses due to the building of Interstate 27 or I-27. And I-27 I'll mention a little bit later on. So that's kind of keep that in mind. That's a lot like around Northeast Lubbock. And then also too, there just has been a lack of residential new construction in Northeast Lubbock. And so with all of those, there just has not been a growing population. However, that is changing, and Lubbock is starting to realize that, or Lubbock knows that, of course. And so there has been a lot of revitalization projects going on that I wanted to highlight. The highly successful North Overton Revitalization Project, along with municipal revitalization projects, are helping or are looking to reverse the population decline. So that way we can start seeing more new infrastructure, new parks, new developments, new life, new just everything coming into North Lubbock or Northeast Lubbock, around the North Overton area, and also in the downtown business area. And so I'm going to talk about the Downtown Business Center next. Before I get into the Downtown Revitalization Project, I just wanted to talk about Lubbock as a whole real quick, so that way you can kind of understand the growth of Lubbock before I kind of get into everything. And so as of 2030, there is projected to be 24,000 new jobs in the Lubbock area, which is only 7 years away if you think about it, which is mind-blowing, which is awesome for the growth of Lubbock. However, there's got to be a place for these people to live, you know? And so not only that, but there has been a total of 19 new subdivisions that have broke ground, and then an additional 15 subdivisions that are preliminary plat maps that are set to break ground in the coming years. And so that's a lot of new construction, as you can imagine. Now, not all of it's in North Lubbock, of course. We have some predominantly in West Lubbock. West Lubbock is booming, and some in South Lubbock, but we also will see some in North Lubbock. We are seeing more new townhomes. We're seeing more duplexes in North Lubbock. That's primarily going to be where we are seeing a lot of those low maintenance, little to no low maintenance homes. So if you are looking for something like that, that's where we're seeing a growth or a boom in that type of subtype of home. As far as the median home price in Lubbock, I wanted to highlight some stats real quick. From 2016 to 2022, there has been an increase of 64% in the average home price here in Lubbock. Lubbock is growing. Lubbock is not on the decline. We are set to have 500,000 residents by 2040 or 2050, which is not, again, that far away. And so if you think about it, yes, home prices are continuing to steadily increase because over time, there's not going to be a ton of inventory. That's why we are seeing so many new construction neighborhoods become available to help with the population increase or projected increase that Lubbock is supposed to gain in the next 10 to 15 years. Okay, so now let's talk about the downtown revitalization project happening in Lubbock right now. So the downtown revitalization project is considered in Northeast Lubbock. And so it spans from I-27 to Avenue Q, and then from Marcia Sharp to about 19th Street. So that's about 640 acres in the downtown business center. Now, Lubbock is working on just revamping that entire area, revamping buildings, adding parks, adding dog space, adding walking trails, just wanting to make it more of an appealing place that people want to be. They're adding apartments. They turned the old courthouse into some courthouse lofts. So that way, if you do want to live downtown in an apartment with close to a lot of the things downtown, close to newer restaurants, close to I-27 if you work downtown, or if you just want to live in a little piece of history in Lubbock, well, the downtown courthouse lofts are now available and open. There's about 23 apartments that you can stay in or that you can rent. They are not for purchase, but you can always live in them and rent them. The Pioneer Pocket Hotel is also, it says it's a hotel, but you can also rent out some apartments in that hotel. Also, it is just underneath that is the West Table, which is an amazing restaurant here in Lubbock. And then also it is connected to LBK Brewery. And next to that is Two Docs Brewery. So there's a lot going on in downtown Lubbock, a lot of revitalization efforts. And I wanted to highlight the park that is that is in the process of starting and revamping the downtown area. So one of the main goals of the revitalization project is to have a walkable, vibrant, beautiful, just space with mixed use office spaces, with shops, with a local convenience store, with a green space, all centered around a big park, which is set to be pretty awesome when it's all said and done. Okay, so this is going to be between Broadway and 13th Street, between Avenue L and M, which is going to encompass an entire block, a city block in the downtown Lubbock area. And like I mentioned, so the goal is to have mixed use office spaces, to have a walking trail, to have a public art display, to have an outdoor game space for recreational games, to have a pet relief area, which is like a dog park as well, a splash pad, which we do not have in downtown Lubbock right now. So all of it is just supposed to be just a way to bring people together, a way for people to come in. Also, I forgot to mention, they are going to have a food truck space, which food trucks are becoming very popular in Lubbock. We have, I think it's on the very last, either Friday or Sunday of the month, Thursday. One of the days of the last weeks of the month, there's a food truck event where a lot of the food trucks in Lubbock, they just kind of get together and you're able to explore and try different food trucks. And I love food trucks. I grew up in Austin, and food trucks were such a big thing in Austin. And so I think that food trucks are so special, and that we should, as a community, support the local food truck owners. So I think that that's awesome that Lubbock is starting to incorporate that and have a spot specifically for them as well too. So it's just going to be a really awesome spot for people to come in, hang out, and just it's supposed to bring in a lot of new businesses and new business growth, just due to it being an entire city block wanting to bring in just, again, mixed use office spaces. So along with the city wanting to make downtown Lubbock a more vibrant, entertaining, fun place to live and to work, as some of you know, there is also a little bit further down I-27 in North Lubbock, Northeast Lubbock, is Luperno Foods coming to Lubbock. I have not mentioned this before, but Luperno Foods is the largest mozzarella or cheese distributor, and it's supposed to invest an $870,000 processing plant here in the Lubbock area, which is projected to bring in thousands on thousands of jobs, which is an amazing opportunity for Lubbock. And then also too, kind of off the same area, off of I-27 in 2021, the Amazon hub locker, not really a locker, more distribution center was built, and that brought in thousands of jobs as well, which is pretty awesome to have an Amazon distribution center and Luperno Foods coming in. It's just attracting more and more businesses to come to Lubbock. So now moving on to Texas Tech a little bit. Now we're going west of Avenue Q. So now we're west of Avenue Q. The emergence of Texas Tech Health Science Center, some University Medical Hospital and Covenant Medical Hospital, and some smaller medical centers in the Lubbock area in the North Lubbock area has really turned the North Lubbock into a medical hub, where a lot of people are relocating to due to the proximity and the closeness that they can live to some amazing, renowned hospitals. And I wanted to point out real quick, since the emergence of Lubbock in 1909, predominantly the entire direction of growth and development has been south and southwest Lubbock, which is why you see so many new constructions. That's why when you say, oh, we're moving to Lubbock, well, don't forget to check out south and southwest Lubbock. That's what everybody's talking about. So that's mainly why I wanted to talk about the Health Science Center, why I wanted to talk about just Texas Tech as a whole, because now we're starting to see more growth happening north of Texas Tech. And so when I say north of Texas Tech, I mean north of 19th Street, from about North Quaker, Indiana kind of runs into North Texas Tech Parkway, and then west of that and to about Milwaukee-ish. And so from 19th Street and up and north of all of that, that's what I'm going to refer to as North Lubbock residential area. And so that's what we're seeing a boom in right now. And so that's what I wanted to talk about after the Health Science Center. So the Health Science Center, yes, it's growing. We've seen a ton of major medical move into the Lubbock area, which is helping a lot of the residential homes that we're starting to see an incorporation of. And so North Lubbock has faced just a challenge of the lack of new infrastructure, the lack of urbanization coming into that part of Lubbock. However, there are some amazing neighborhoods that exist in North Lubbock that have been existing or that were built between like early 2000s to 2015-ish. And these neighborhoods are neighborhoods that do not see a lot of turnover. We do not see a lot of these homeowners wanting to move out of the neighborhoods, not only because that their house is gorgeous, but these houses are going to be very classic. You're not going to see the modern just houses that we're seeing in South or Southwest Lubbock, like in South Fork or something. We're not going to see just big, just glass homes with big open concepts. They're going to be more traditional homes. And not only do they not move out because their homes are gorgeous, but they can't find something like that right now. The land that they purchased this house on, and majority of these homes are going to be on some land. And I'm not talking, you'll have some houses that are going to be on 10 or plus acres, but maybe half an acre or 1 acre. You know, these are lots that are going to be a little bit just not super massive to take care of, but just have a little bit of room to breathe between you and your neighbor. And so it's just really hard to find something like that in South or Southwest Lubbock. That's not, if you don't want a super modern home and you're not wanting to pay $1 million price point and you live there for so long, you know, so we're seeing a lot of those homeowners just renovate their homes because they just don't want to find anything that's or they can't find anything that's comparable to it. Not only that, is when they purchased it, the land in North Lubbock is generally going to be a little bit cheaper. Just like I said before, there has not been a ton of new infrastructure going and developing in North Lubbock, but we are seeing that start to change. And so I wanted to talk about some of the neighborhoods as well too that is coming along and being built in the Northwest or in the North Lubbock area. And so as I mentioned before, a lot of North Lubbock has apartments and townhomes and duplexes. A lot of the apartments do cater towards Texas Tech students. And so we're seeing an influx of new apartment buildings being built in that area off of 4th Street and Erskine, off of Frankfurt or Quaker. So we're seeing a ton of newer apartments in that area. They're not only for Texas Tech students, we are seeing some apartments being built for just residents here in the Lubbock area. And that's why I wanted to highlight too. I did do a video on, if you have not watched it, on $200,000 here in Lubbock. And I highlighted a neighborhood in North Lubbock that is newer neighborhood, but it's an affordable neighborhood. And I say affordable, around 200,000. It's more going to be like your townhomes if you want a lower maintenance area. Like I mentioned, we are seeing more townhomes in that area. We just haven't seen that in the South Lubbock area. And also too, South Lubbock is going to be a little bit further from campus. And so if you are a tech student looking to move to the Lubbock area, really North Lubbock is going to be, if you want something that's low maintenance, you're not wanting something super old, but you still want to be close to campus. North Lubbock, I would highly recommend looking in, just because the more south you go and the further away from campus you get, yes, you get some newer homes, but you're still going to be about 15 minutes away from campus. Whereas if you live in North Lubbock, you're really only going to be about 5 to 10 minutes, which is not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but generally speaking, it is whenever you have night classes and stuff like that. Also too, the homes are just going to be a little bit more affordable, especially some of the newer construction homes. Also too, you are going to be able to find some homes that are on land if you're lucky. And then there also are some golf courses that are North Lubbock. So if you want to live on the golf course, really at an affordable price, you're going to see a lot of homes on the golf course. We have about, 4 golf courses that are in North Lubbock. We have the Country Club, which is North Lubbock, which is off of I-27, close to the airport. So if you ever fly into Lubbock, you'll pass the golf course making your way in. So you have the Country Club, Lubbock Country Club. I'll have Shadow Hills. We'll have, I don't know why I'm blanking, Hillcrest. There's one other golf course out in North Lubbock, but that's another awesome thing about North Lubbock is if you do want to live on the golf course, a lot of these are public and or private golf courses, or they're both. And so Reese Center golf courses out there off of 4th Street. Anyway, they're 19th Street. So there are lots of options. The Reese Center, you can find a new construction home on the golf course. Majority of the homes on the golf courses in North Lubbock are going to be a little bit older. You are going to feel a little bit more secluded just because there's not a ton of active growth as far as restaurants. You are going to see some mom and pop stores open up. You'll see some cute little, ice cream shops or just little restaurants here and there, but we're not seeing the booming of commercialized restaurant chains. I don't know why I was blanking. Commercialized restaurant chains out in North Lubbock just yet. But you are not going to be, for the most part, too far from the Loop, which the Loop does get you access, which I've talked about this plenty of times before, but you can access pretty much anything from the Loop. And if not, you can get on the Loop and then take it to Indiana, Quaker, Milwaukee, and just exit where you need to go. So really, that is going to be a lot of what's going on in some of those North Lubbock neighborhoods. And when I say that, that's anything north of 19th Street. So we're not talking anything past or south of 19th. This is all north of 19th Street. So now let's talk about some things to do in North Lubbock. First is the Lubbock Lake Landmark. The Lubbock Lake Landmark celebrates 50 years of continuous field research this year. Also, it is a premier archaeological and natural history site of North America. So the Lubbock Lake Landmark contains evidence of up to 12,000 years of evidence of people living here, ancient people living here on the South Plains or the High Plains ground. It's pretty amazing work that you can go and discover there. They have night trails, hiking trails. So go check it out if you are visiting Lubbock. Second is Hebrew Coffee. It's a very rustic Christian coffee shop right off of Buddy Holly Lake. So you can go enjoy some live music, have a fresh cup of coffee, do your daily devotional, or just go check it out, enjoy the pretty sunset. And like I mentioned, you can overlook the Buddy Holly Lake, and it is just an older coffee shop that is in North Lubbock. You can also rent a paddleboard if you are looking to do something fun after you enjoy your cup of coffee. And you can rent a paddleboard, explore. I think it's on Dunbar Lake. You can also kind of just enjoy the day, get some sunshine, and listen to some live music. They don't do a lot of this in the wintertime, so this is more of a summer thing, but just something to keep in mind. So third is going to be Prairie Dog Town. And so if you don't know this, prairie dogs are invasive here in Lubbock. We have prairie dogs everywhere, especially in North Lubbock. You're driving down the road and you see prairie dogs everywhere. But they have a special prairie dog park where you can go, just enjoy them, take a look at them. It's at McKenzie Park. Then you can also go over and play some golf at the golf course after you're done. Next is you got to try E&J Smokehouse at Spirit Ranch. So off of I-27, it's an amazing barbecue place here in Lubbock. Spirit Ranch is also a great wedding venue if you are looking to get married in Lubbock. Spirit Ranch would be a great place. Also at E&J Smokehouse, they have peacock, so you can enjoy a pretty picture with a peacock and some amazing food at E&J's. And if you are in the mood for some great, authentic Mexican food from a restaurant that has been serving Lubbock for over 50 years, then do not miss a chance to go to Montelagos in Northeast Lubbock. They are serving, like I mentioned, just amazing Mexican food that just tastes like it just came right out of grandma's kitchen. So E&J Smokehouse for some barbecue, and then Montelagos for some amazing Mexican food. And next, I just wanted to really highlight, just wrap it all up, everything that we talked about today, some pros and cons of living in North Lubbock. So I wanted to talk about some pros, and some pros of living in North Lubbock, since I think a lot of people take North Lubbock and kind of have a negative connotation or don't really know if they want to live in North Lubbock. But just to highlight some of the pros that we talked about today is, one, you can find some affordable housing. Affordable housing that you can't necessarily afford or that you can find in Southwest Lubbock or South Lubbock. Those prices are just going to be a little bit higher than North Lubbock. Two is you are close to the hospitals. If you are moving to Lubbock and you want to be close to UMC or Medical District or Covenant or one of the great, amazing local medical offices here in the Lubbock area, well, then North Lubbock, you would probably want to live in that area just because it is a little bit closer. Three is you can find a house with some land on it that's not going to be relatively insanity. Yes, you'll have some homes that are going to be, $1 million in North Lubbock that are going to be on some land, but you can also find some homes that are going to be a reasonable budget, around $400,000, $500,000, some even $300,000 on a little bit of land in North Lubbock. Also, if your goal is just to feel a little bit disconnected from the hustle and bustle of everyday life and you just want to live in more of a isolated neighborhood that does not have a lot going on, you're not going to hear horns honking at all times of the night, well, then North Lubbock would be a great place for you to look into, just because you do feel like you are a little bit further away from things. But again, not like you're 20 minutes away from things. You're not that far from being downtown Lubbock. And I wanted to talk about one con. I think everything that I've talked about today kind of revolves around the one con, is that it's far from majority of the new development in Lubbock. And so, like I mentioned, if you want to feel isolated, that's a great place to start. I say isolated. If you want to feel like you're just a little bit away from the hustle and bustle, it's not like you're not going to have houses around you. But if you don't want to feel that way, that is going to be a negative con that is going to be happening in North Lubbock. I do think over the next few years, it is going to grow. I think praying that an HEB goes into North Lubbock. I just got our first HEB in South Lubbock a couple years ago. But North Lubbock, HEB, if you're listening, I think they have some land in North Lubbock, but that will only continue to bring more businesses to the North Lubbock area, and more restaurants, more chain restaurants. So that wraps up the pros and cons of living in North Lubbock. So I know that was kind of a lot encompassing North Lubbock, about when Lubbock was originally founded in 1909, to the tornado, to the efforts that downtown Lubbock is hoping to revitalize into the new developments into North Lubbock as a residential neighborhoods, and then also Texas Tech University Health Science Center and all the medical hospitals and medical centers that are happening in North Lubbock as well. So there's a lot going on in the area. Again, it's just more so, it's been more industrial. It just hasn't been a lot of newer residential, but that is changing over the next few years. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned a lot about North Lubbock, or at least more than you knew before. And also don't forget to check out some of those places that I mentioned to do in North Lubbock, and stick around for part 2, because I'm actually going to get in my car. I will take you around to 3 different neighborhoods so that you can see, what some of those neighborhoods look like. You don't just have to take my word for it. I'll get in my car. I'll show you a market analysis of the neighborhood, kind of what to expect in that neighborhood. That way you can just kind of get a feel for what you're looking for whenever you do move down here. So if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, definitely let me know. And as always, if you like this video, then be sure to like and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things living in Lubbock, Texas. And stick around till next time. I'll see you around.